But she goes by Dodie, and she can sing. Like
Looking for that.
we both can't reach it.
Well, your phone is a lost cause.
Damn.
Well, I guess it's time to call the podcast over. We can't reach the cellular device. I can reach mine.
Yeah.
Right here.
I can reach mine now.
Oh, good.
No, I love Dodie. She's amazing. Like.
There is a wall in my life built by you. You opened a door that a kid shouldn't walk through. Oh, but I'm not bitter, I'm just tired. No use getting angry at the way that you're wired. Ignorant child.
What do you think of that?
Not bad, actually.
Yeah.
Not bad at all.
Just got attacked by a pop filter.
Yes, you did.
But yeah, I'm in love with Dodie. She's pretty. She can sing. She can harmonize like no other, mate.
Oh, well, that is very nice.
Yeah, dude. She did for Christmas what she does sometimes is she'll do a Christmas songs
Yes.
in a minor key.
Mm.
Yeah, dude. And the harmonies are absolutely phenomenal.
Sleigh bells ring, are you listening? In the lane, snow's glistening. A beautiful sight, we're happy tonight.
There's the one I like.
Walking in a winter wonderland. In
See,
the meadow we could build a snow.
I like her. She also plays the ukulele, which is really cool. Mm-hmm.
You do this, she does this.
Yeah. I thought about learning the ukulele.
I figured it wouldn't be much harder than what you play now. Isn't it just 4 strings instead of 5?
Yeah, the chords are slightly different too, but
Yeah, they are slightly, but it wouldn't be a hard changeover.
I've thought about it. Because, I mean, there's some things that
Now,
I would be like...
now, it might be a more difficult change if you went
Yeah.
from the 4 strings of ukulele to the 8 strings of Chad's fancy headless that doesn't appear to be there. Oh, no,
Yeah,
it's
it's
there.
right there.
I see it. I saw it now.
Yeah.
Normally, it's on the end right here on the first 3, and it's not there this
No.
time. It's the 5th one over
Mm-hmm.
because the first
Well-
one's empty.
There's a song that I'm working on with those guys I went to South Carolina with.
Oh, okay.
And a ukulele would sound great in this song. And I really like this song.
Hmm.
I think it's a banger. We just need to actually finish it. It's rough right now.
So today on Flatlands Podcast,
On the way down to Mexico, and when I get there,
That would be perfect.
you give me from the bad nachos. It's just a matter of time. Even though you probably never
See, this is a catchy song, isn't it?
it is actually.
You should have kept that going because I would totally sent that one little clip to Mitchell. That's his song. I would have sent it to Mitchell and been like, so we actually used yours as the intro to the podcast. Welcome, everybody, to Flatlands, the podcast.
Yeah.
How is everyone doing out there today? I hope everyone's having a great, fantastic Monday.
On
This
this glorious morning, if you're listening to it when it gets posted, afternoon, if you're listening to it on your way home from work or during your lunch break,
Yes,
or evening, if you decide to listen to it and go to bed.
yes. Like I do.
Yeah. Of course, I also do it in the evening too when I'm at work because I go to work late.
Mm-hmm. You know, that was the first time we ever addressed the day that we release it to the day of the people that listened to it.
Well, yeah, this is very true.
Mm-hmm. So what do you want to talk about today, Steven?
Well, I got a call from my parents earlier today.
Oh, they usually call you.
Yeah, well, my mother specifically is the one who
Oh,
called
wow.
me.
I'm
Yes.
surprised.
Yeah, I'm not. She's the one who always calls me.
I mean, usually every time I'm with you, it's your dad.
No, it's my mom on my dad's phone.
Oh.
Yeah, but she said they were at Costco.
Oh.
I was like, oh, well, I just live right down the street.
right.
I'll go join you.
No, that's good.
And I get there,
Mm-hmm.
and she goes, hey, do you want this?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, sure, but I'll
What
need
is
this
it?
other thing for it. And that is how I ended up with Boo Berry cereal, Count
Hmm.
Chocolate cereal, and Frankenberry.
No, dude,
Cereal.
Count Chocula was my shit.
My inner child was happy.
I
I ate a
was like,
bowl of the Boo Berry.
See, I never really cared for Boo Berry.
I
or
don't know either.
Frankenberry.
Yeah,
But
but
I
I mean, it was a 3-pack,
loved-
so if you
Yeah, but I loved Count Chocula.
and I don't eat cereal ever
Neither do I.
anymore.
Not anymore.
I got that 3-pack now, and I'm like, ooh, yeah.
You little kid.
Yeah.
Dude, I got the Spyro game finally. It released like
Ever
last
ago?
year. The remaster last year. But I got it finally. Dude, I have been playing that shit.
All day.
Yes, I have enjoyed the shit. Like once I was like, wait a second, I want this. Because how I found it, I was on Instagram and an ad for it came up going, now on Nintendo and PC. And then I was like, let me actually go get it on my PlayStation. So then I went there, I bought it, and I've been playing it. I've been playing the first game, and I'm having to remember a lot. But see, the thing is, though, is all the games are different in my brain because I never played the same game all the way through because I had the PlayStation 1 disc of it. And I didn't have a PlayStation 1 memory card. So if I were to play it, I would either have to play it all the way through and not turn my PlayStation off ever.
I've done that.
Yep. Or I would turn it off, but then I'd pull out the other disc and play the other game. So I don't think I ever beat a Spyro game as a kid.
Well, I bought the PlayStation game of Crash Bandicoot when I had my PS2, and I started playing it, but I had the same problem. I didn't have a memory card, so I couldn't save it. And then the funny thing is, my mother got into that game, and then I think she ended up eventually playing it more than I did at one point.
See,
she has my DS too.
Nice. When my parents bought the PlayStation 2, I started out with the Nintendo 64.
I did not. I actually started off with the Nintendo NES and then upgraded to a Sega Genesis. Then jumped right into the PS2.
See, I was Nintendo 64 to the PS2.
I wish I had a 64. I've thought about buying one again.
I still have it.
Does it work though?
I believe so. It hasn't been turned on in like God knows how long, but I'm pretty sure it does. And
well, we can always go find out one day.
Yeah. It's in my mom's office in the closet on the top shelf.
That controller is going to be a pain in the ass to get used to again there. That's a fucking weird controller.
Yes. But I had that. And then when we got the PlayStation 2, it was because my dad wanted to play because he saw this like football game. It was at the time was when 2K was still around doing NFL. And he wanted that. So he'd play that every now and then. But I was the main one that played. And I was the one they mainly bought the games for.
Well, this also explains what was in your room most of the time.
Because they never played it. And then I got a Wii.
My parents got a Wii. I did not get one.
Yeah, I got a Wii.
I didn't care to have a Wii. That didn't last very long.
Yeah, I liked it. I had this WWE game. And my mom grounded me from it and basically permanently banned me from it because I got pissed off because the way the game is like you were a superstar, right, in the WWE, and you went through this whole entire career. And I was like close to the end and I was having to fight. I think it was Edge and I could never seem to beat him. I would get so fucking pissed that I almost like chunked my Wii controller multiple times. It's a good thing that I had the little wristband on.
Yes.
Yeah. And
you probably would have had to explain to your mother why you broke a TV.
Luckily, though, it worked out and I didn't break the TV, but she banned me from the game. So, yeah.
Well, all right then.
I used to play I used to play way more than I do now. Way more.
Oh, yeah, I did too. I used to play all kinds of things more than I do now.
It used to be like every second of every day was playing a game. Hours upon hours was playing a game. And now it's not that way anymore.
Nope.
But there's this one game I cannot remember for the life of me. I loved that game. I cannot think of the name.
What
I can see the
console?
picture of it. It was a PlayStation 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was like this little ferret dude and this like elf looking guy with like long hair. You were shooting these dudes everywhere and it was like futuristic and like set in another world.
I have no fucking clue what game you're talking about.
See, I can picture it. I just cannot think of the name. Like fuck. It annoys the fuck out of me.
Would it be Jack?
Let me see the picture.
It's on sale for $7.94. It's on that side. It's the first thing I've seen that kind of resembles the idea.
Yes! Jack and Daxter. Yes, Jack and Daxter.
There we go. After
That's
some
the
Google
game.
searching there.
Yes. I probably was about to find it. But yes, dude.
It's currently in stock at $7.94 at LukeyGames.com. Yes.
I mean,
Along with a wide variety of other games.
if they did a remaster of
There's
that,
59 total pages of games.
if they did a remaster of that game, dude, I'd be all over that shit like Donkey Kong, bro. All right, everyone, it's Jonathan. I had to stop the podcast. Guess what? I found out they did. Holy shit. I am the happiest fucking dude in the world right now. So Jonathan from the future is breaking into this podcast episode right now to let you guys know they do have it. And holy shit, I have been playing it. Oh my God.
Yeah, maybe they will.
That game was
Wonder what that was.
Yeah. That game was so fun, dude. Like, I enjoyed the fun. I never beat it either because it was never my game. I borrowed it from a friend who lived down the street because he was borrowing one of my games.
I never played it.
I played it because he had it and he wanted one of my games. But I do remember this one game I used to play all the time, played multiplayer on it. But this was without internet, so you know someone would actually have to be physically there to play with you.
Oh yeah, that's why you had to have a bigger TV too.
Mm-hmm. And
which was weird when I went from a 13-inch tube TV to a 32 flat screen.
Yeah, I remember when I went from like a teeny tiny tube TV to a 24-inch flat. I remember that. That was definitely interesting.
Yeah, it definitely took gaming to a whole new level when you went from split screen on 13 square inches, like literally 13-inch diagonal measurement, but it's a perfect square screen to full rectangle.
Yep.
Yeah, so much nicer.
But I remember 007, James Bond.
Yes.
What was the name?
I used to play
Agent Under Fire.
I used to play that a lot on 64 when I was
GoldenEye on 64?
When I was really young. I think it was GoldenEye. Because a lady used to babysit me and this other kid while my parents were at work, obviously. And her son had a 64 in that game. And we'd always split screen it.
See, on the 64, I always
you can go up to 4 on that one.
Yeah. I always played Pokemon and I would rent all the time. I would rent like these Star Wars or these different shooter games. But I never really owned that many 64 games. I did have a Rugrats game. That was fun. Of course, I'm looking back on it. The graphics are ass. I know that.
But you're talking to somebody who just recently bought, well, not recently, but has purchased in the last couple months a Game Boy Advance and a Game Boy Color and forgot that there's no backlight.
Yeah. So you remember with those though, like without the backlight, you had that little light thing that would that you could hook to it and then have it hang over.
And then when I bought the Game Boy Color, it came with that rubber protective case, and I forgot that they ever made for them.
Oh yeah,
that has little tabs on the top so you can clip like a shoulder strap too.
Yeah. Oh shit!
All runs off of AA batteries.
I remember when I had a Game Boy SP.
I haven't found one of those. Yes, it's the little
folded one.
Flip one. Yeah.
I remember I had that. I remember a friend of mine. They had an SP as well, and we would play these games together. But there was no wireless connection. You had to actually physically connect the two together.
Yeah, the DS is when they finally did the sensors to do wireless.
Because I remember I'd go over to his house because he lived on the same street as I did. I would go over to his house.
That's not saying a lot. You lived on a tiny street.
I did. And I mean, how many kids did not live on that street?
Yeah, you were limited to what, 2 people?
2. I think at max there was 4 kids at one time. But all those people would always constantly move. But I remember we'd sit like how you and I are sitting right now, and we'd have this cable connecting the two, and then we'd be playing. That was fun.
Our childhood memories here.
Yes, but like I was saying about James Bond, Agent Under Fire.
Yes.
Have you ever played that game?
No.
That game was actually fun. It's not based off of any of the movies or anything or books or anything like that. It's just a random James Bond game, but it was actually pretty fun. I enjoyed it. There's a thing where you can look at a girl's boobs.
Wow.
You have to take the sniper rifle. There's one part of the game you walk in to the shower, and the shower opens up, and it's can't remember his name, but he's like one of the science guys that helps Bond with his gadgets.
Q?
Yeah, thank you. It was Q, and he was there, and he's like, Mr. Bond, the latest in holographic technology. But before you go in there and it goes up, if you take the sniper and look, you can see her boobs. I haven't played it in a long time, but I'm pretty sure those are not round boobs. They are very, very octagonal. I'm pretty
sure. Actually, yes.
But
it's not like in Grand Theft Auto 5 when you actually are that paparazzi mission.
Oh, yeah.
And you sneak in that yard and that girl's bent over the table getting fucked by that dude, and you can actually see his dick and you can see her tits. They actually look decent for that game because the graphics on that game is actually much better than all the other Grand Theft Autos.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
But
still waiting on 6.
Right. Speaking of Grand Theft Auto, how do you think they're going to do 6? Because, I mean, there's such a massive fucking rumor mill.
I really just want them to make it where you can go to the airport. You have that little in-game play where it shows you getting onto the plane,
Mm-hmm.
flying to the next city, and then you start off right outside the airport, right outside the terminal, and you can go out and do your thing and go from San Andreas to Liberty City to Vice City, so on and so forth. So go to all of them.
See, I don't know if they're gonna do that though.
That'd be nice though.
I've heard rumors they are, and I've heard rumors they're not. Like they're gonna do a completely different city. I've heard they're gonna redo just Liberty City again, but I don't know.
But that's just it. They did the Liberty City a lot because there is actually Grand Theft Auto Liberty City.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have the Stories of Liberty City, and then you have the Ballad of Gay Tony.
Right.
It's also in Liberty City. Half the Grand Theft Auto games actually are in Liberty City.
Mm-hmm.
They need to get out of Liberty City and maybe go back to Vice City.
But see, I don't know how if they're gonna go because isn't Vice City based off of Vegas, right? And Liberty City is based off of New York. Isn't that how it is?
Vice City is Miami.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Don't they have one that's Vegas?
I don't think so.
Because I know obviously Los Santos, that's L.A. Liberty City's New York, right?
Yes.
Okay, and then Vice. For some reason I thought Vice was Vegas. I don't know why, but I thought they did have one that was Vegas.
No,
or was a spinoff of Vegas.
In 2013 is when Grand Theft Auto 5 came out. 2010 is when Grand Theft Auto 4, the episodes of Liberty City came out. 2009, it's actually Grand Theft Auto episodes from Liberty City again. I don't know why they did it more than once. The Ballad of Gay Tony is in 2009 as well. Chinatown Wars is also, but I think that was mobile. Liberty City Stories, Vice City Stories, San Andreas. Yeah, Vice City. What was 1, 2, and 3 based out of? 2001 is when GTA 3 came out. What city is it in? Doesn't actually tell me. The graphics look like shit, though. It doesn't tell me exactly. But apparently it was the 6th best-selling game in 2001. With over 8 million copies sold.
Now, with 5, do you think one reason they're taking so long? Obviously, they had Red Dead 2 come out in between, obviously.
And that was a big hit.
Mm-hmm.
I actually enjoyed that game.
But do you think they're milking online as much as possible before they even
always do.
Well, because this was the first Grand Theft Auto Online.
No.
In the scope and scale that it is now.
Yeah, in the scope and scale that it is now. But actually, Grand Theft Auto before the 5... I can't remember exactly which one it is off the top of my head. They actually had that one with a capability of playing online, and that's when all the mods really started for the role play of being a law enforcement officer and all that. That's where that started. And then 5 came out and made it even better. And then I think they're using all the PC mods that people are making, because every time a new set of mods comes out for the PC, they find a way to integrate it onto the consoles. So basically everybody's getting a piece of it.
Yeah, I noticed ramps before ramps weren't a thing.
Or the in-the-air tracks and all that stuff. Yeah, none of that.
That used to be a thing, but that was always the PC shit. And then that started going onto the console.
And with me having both the PC and the console version of 5, I can actually tell you that going through some of the lobbies and stuff and servers that people have with all their different mods in it, I can definitely tell you that I've seen mods on the PC version first. And then later an update will come up on the consoles and it will include it at that point. Or it will also include on the PC version for the people who don't know how to get those or have the ability to get those.
Yeah. Okay. So besides of the places that you would be, what do you think the size of the map and how all of that will be in
It'd have to be at least the same size as what it is now, which is actually really nice size.
I'm thinking it's going to be bigger.
Because, well, yeah, but also if you think about it, right now, Grand Theft Auto 5 is 3 counties and 4 cities, 4 towns.
1 city and then the rest are towns, yeah.
Yeah, 1 city and 3 towns, basically. So, I mean, hopefully I would like to see them do like a Vegas one with some of the suburbs around it and have the deserty cliffs and stuff out in the distance and stuff.
Right. Kind of like how they do from Los Santos all the way into San Andreas.
Yeah. When you go from
Los Santos
County into Blaine County. Yeah. But see, I would like they could even do that where they actually, instead of going north from LA or from Liberty City, technically, since we're not Liberty City, Los Santos. Sorry, wrong fucking town.
Yeah.
But instead of going north out of that main city into the county and everything that way, what if they did it more to the east? and you actually connect Los Santos and whatever they make the Vegas town out of as one big map.
I could see. I mean, they'd have to obviously scale that down a lot.
Well,
but
let's say do it now too, because if you play the game, if you remember, Trevor states that he lives in Blaine County in Sandy Shores, 2 hours north of Los Santos, but it's only like a 2-minute drive in game.
Well, also too, I think where Trevor lives, that's based off of some of those towns that were springing up next to that lake that was accidentally made. I can't remember what it's called, but in California.
Yeah, because you actually showed me on the map. Like, this is actually where this would be.
Yeah, and it's one of those. So I mean, and that's actually pretty far from LA in the scope of shit. So I mean, I could see them doing that. I would like for multiple cities. You know, I think it'd be cool if they did, because a lot of people do travel on a daily basis from LA to Vegas and Vegas to LA. Because they're actually not that far of a drive from each other. No, like even when I was in the Marine Corps, you know, from 29 Palms to Vegas was like 2.5, 3 hours.
Yeah, which would be the same distance as driving from Los Santos to Sandy Shores in game, or all the way across the map. Because all the way across the map, if you think of Sandy Shores as being a 2 hour mark, you're looking at a 3.5 to 4 hour drive to get from one end from the city all the way to the top of the map. So why couldn't they do that where they just incorporate the two major cities and put a couple of small ones in between them?
But I wish they would have like, what's that? It's the prologue of the game when you're playing the story mode.
Oh yeah, you know that little town where they all originated.
Yeah, and it's all the snowy shit, you know.
Yeah,
and you go there at the end of the game, at the end of the main.
Yeah, you go there at the beginning. You start off there, and then you go back at the end to decide whether or not you're gonna to go after Trevor, who's going to try to dig up your body, find out what's there, and then you chase him down. I can't remember what it's called now.
Yeah, but
which there are mods that actually go into that town.
But I remember there was also, even in console, there was a way to not hack, but like glitch yourself into it, and they quickly patched that shit. And it's like so many people were wanting to go there. They should have expanded to it, in my opinion, because that would have been cool to be able to go.
It would have been. But see, at the same time, they are actually taking advantage of the mods still. Because remember, like in gameplay, you crashed that basically that C-130 into the ocean or whatever.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. All of that, if you actually go onto the PC and there's a mod to drain all the water off the map completely.
Yeah.
All that shit is actually there.
Right. Yeah.
And if you get the mods to go under the water, or you eat
one of those mushroom things.
Yeah, the little mushroom thing. I can't think of what it's called now.
A dolphin or something.
Yeah. Then you can actually swim out to it and look at it. All that debris is in there. And they think they did that intentionally, knowing that there will be people who come up with mods to find it, stuff like that. There are ways to do stuff like that, and they do milk it that way. So I don't know why they patched that one glitch up instead of actually making it an expansion.
A thing where you could go, like you could buy a hangar or some type of shit. But now the thing is, though, with Grand Theft Auto that I've noticed they've been doing a massive amount of runaway inflation prices without the dollar going up in value.
Yes. Which makes it harder and harder to
get shit without paying real money. And I mean, I get that they're wanting to, obviously make money. It's a cash grab, but that shit's annoying because that's how a lot of games are going. Like the pay to win type of shit.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this thing is cool. This would make it easier. Oh yeah, that's going to be like 300 million in-game dollars. But every mission you do, even the heist, you're not going to get anywhere close to that. So
yeah, the only time you get a good chunk of change is when you actually play the story mode at the end and you do the grand heist at the end, and then you could get off with up to $24 million.
I know you can get more than that.
Depends on if you kill somebody off or not.
Yeah, but because I remember, I think I got like a couple hundred, but it also depends on what type of guys you get.
Yeah. So, but either way, it ultimately you get millions and millions and millions doing that. But when you play the online mode, the big heists in there, you might profit. After you get your team set up, you might profit $250,000.
Yeah,
at the high end.
But I mean, that's the thing
and
that's
annoying. And then you got like that Osprey. That Osprey was like $2.6 million that I got.
Yeah. Well, like even then, like okay, you could buy a shark card, right?
Yep.
Awesome. $8 million, great. But when everything else is over the 50, 60, 70 million, because I remember
and you're looking at $100 for that $8 million, 100 real dollars.
Right. I remember one time they had it on sale for like half off. I remember buying a shark card for $50.
I did too. I did that one.
This was early on in the game. I think it was before the Xbox One came out. Like you could do that and get that, and pretty much you would have everything in the game.
Oh yeah,
with that shark card. I mean,
now
not
you gotta buy
100%.
like
You might have to buy
10 or
2 of
12.
them. Yeah, you might be able to have to buy 2 of them, but you can get a nice apartment.
And
nice
if you get them while they're on
car.
sale, you can get double the money for the same price you would have for one.
Yep. But
But-
now with the shit so high, you buy 2 of them, 16 million. Great. This thing over here is 30. Like, okay, how am I going to get? I
Yeah,
can't get
and
that
then
shit. Then.
you got like that semi truck thing that's also like a mobile headquarters, whatever it's called, the terabyte or something like that. Isn't it like $20 million or $100 million or something like that? It's
I
like
think so,
stupid
yeah.
expensive.
But see, they never raised that shit up.
Yeah,
either
they
to
never
match
raised
it.
anything to match it. And actually, I think as Grand Theft Auto 5 got further along,
Mm-hmm.
I think they lowered how much you made per mission and raised the price of everything.
Because see, I mean,
Because you and me used to have a ton of fun making a ton of money on it all the time, and then we got off it for a while, got back on it, and we weren't making as much money as fast.
yeah, and that's the thing that's
because we would
so
CEO
hard.
that shit like a motherfucker, VIP at all that shit, bodyguard, all that.
I mean, the grind in that game is ridiculous. And
But
then
look
too,
at the people who play it. Most
Yeah.
of them will play it. Are younger kids who will play it as soon as they get home from school. They will play it until they go to bed.
Mhm.
They will maybe see if they wake up early enough, they may squeeze in 30 minutes to an hour before school. Then
Come
they'll come
home.
home and do it all over again.
Yeah, or be sick with quotation sick.
Yeah, and spend
And
the
play
entire
it.
weekend. As soon as they get off Friday, they're up all night Friday night, go to sleep early
Whenever.
Saturday morning,
Yeah.
sleep for a few hours, get back up. First thing they do is turn the console back on, and they're jamming at it again.
Mm-hmm. But even then, too, the grind is hard, especially depending on what lobbies you get in.
Yes.
If you get in a peaceful lobby, dude, you could grind all damn day and be fine.
yeah,
but
which
then you
you and me
get-
have done that a few times.
Yeah, but then you get in those lobbies that you can't even take one step in any direction without being,
Or you have that one person who's intentionally just dogging you constantly.
Yeah, and you're like-
I've gotten in a lobby where a guy kept running me over, shooting me with his armored truck.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm
you're
like,
like,
dude,
dude.
I'm not bothering you. I didn't start anything with you. What the fuck is your problem?
Yep.
And then I never did start anything with him on top of that. And eventually I'll just turn off the game and go, fuck it. I'll go play something else or I'll just go do something else.
Mm-hmm.
So I think GTA, the Rockstar and everything needs to focus on the people who do that more. Start kicking them. But you
Well, they
can't get
do-
into bad lobbies.
Yeah.
But it doesn't do it fast enough, in my opinion, because you get those people who do it so much still in the good lobbies
Mm-hmm.
that why are they able to do it
Yeah, because they
nonstop?
do have those bad lobbies where you technically get banned.
Yeah.
You know,
You
where
can still
you
play
have-
the game and everything, but everybody in there is the same as you,
Yeah.
just killing people left and right. But see, I think if you're doing it constantly for a couple hours in one lobby and they don't kick you until you get, but if you
Mhm.
continuously do a couple hours every day before they finally kick you, I think they should kick you while you're in the process of doing it.
I
They
think
should
there
just-
should be a
They
limit
should,
to it.
they should just do a load screen. Bam, you're in a new lobby. Just say you got kicked out of the lobby, put you back in story mode, and then you just boost
Right,
back
'cause
up into online mode.
I
and go.
understand the PvP aspect of it. I get that can be fun. I have done that myself
Yeah.
where I've gone after
I've
people.
watched you do it.
Yeah. And I've had fun doing that. Sometimes I also like to piss people off by
Taunting them and
letting them
well.
kill me and be like, "Oh, that sucked. You should have done that better." Like, what the fuck? You
Oh,
know?
that took too many bullets. Yeah.
They're like, God, oh, really? Okay, this player over here killed me in one shot, and it took you 2. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
You know?
You've definitely done that.
Yeah. So, which then it gets them even more mad, and eventually they leave me alone because they're like, because I just keep giving them shit for it.
Yeah. Or
But-
they just finally just say fuck it and leave the game
Mhm.
completely.
Like, I understand that, but at the same time, when I personally play Grand Theft Auto, I like to play Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, I actually like to play the missions. I like to actually have my counterfeit operation going, or the
Right,
weed
yeah.
organization you can have in the game, or the nightclub going. I actually like to do the tasks that come with that.
Mhm.
And obviously you need people to help you with that.
Well, see,
But
even
you can't do that.
even then though, I mean, when they do shit like where it requires other people, that's the thing that annoys me. Like, especially the missions that's like, yeah, you can do it by yourself, but good fucking luck. You better be a god at the game,
Yes.
have mods on your side, or
and not get kicked for having those mods.
yeah, or just get excruciatingly lucky.
Yeah, or
know.
you're the only player in that lobby at that time because you got on at the right time,
Right.
which we have done. We have pulled that off a couple times. But see,
There's
You-
even missions though you have to have more than one person.
and also you also think about it. You have to have more than one person most of the time when you're doing like the counterfeit operations.
Mm-hmm.
Because you'll stockpile up so much stuff and you'll go to sell it. Well, in order to distribute all of that,
Mm-hmm.
because you have to be a motorcycle club, you can only transport that shit via motorcycles.
Yeah.
And if your little warehouse is fully stocked, you're looking at 6 to 8 motorcycles that you have to go back and forth with. And you have to drop off that motorcycle, steal a car, drive all the way back, which is in Grapeseed for mine, then deliver all of that shit again, steal another car, drive all the way back. You have to do it multiple times and hope nobody just shows up and blows up all your shit while you're gone with that one.
And that's the thing that annoys me too. Is like,
but they did make a way around it.
You can invite people to help you, but you better hope that they're fucking competent, because sometimes you'll invite people and then they just go off and just either go AFK or they're going way the bum fuck out of over there. Like, that's not even where we're supposed to go, dude. Why the fuck?
Yeah,
are you going
a lot of
there?
people will just take the shit and drive off with it and say fuck it. But they did make a way around that. And that was with the nightclub. You can operate all of your businesses from the nightclub and have one armored van that you can transport it with. But even then, you're in a slower, bigger moving target.
And don't you have to take from the nightclub to the place and then to...
No, it'll all stockpile it from the nightclub.
Oh, okay, because I never got a nightclub.
Yeah, I have a nightclub, and if you have if your counterfeit operation is full, but you're at your nightclub, you can actually look at it, see how full it is, and sell it from there. It'll automatically load everything into that van at your nightclub. You'll leave your nightclub, and then you will be able to distribute it. But again, that van, I've got mine fully armored, bulletproof tires, all that shit. But it's a slow fucking van.
Right, yeah. I hope when GTA 6 comes out, though, I hope that they still have a kick-ass campaign mode, though.
Yes, the one from 5 was actually pretty good.
Yeah, but I hope they still do, because, I mean, that would be nice.
Especially with the little clips in it, how it flows perfectly into the gameplay, which even Red Dead 2 does now, and the game's just trying to do that better. And it's actually really nice. It takes up a hell of a lot more space.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, I actually prefer it. It's worth the space. And to me, it makes the game seem more worth the money, too, now. Because you're not spending half your time waiting on a load screen.
Yeah. Speaking of games, though, what was your favorite game as a child growing up?
I actually really liked all of my Medal of Honor games. It wasn't just one specific game. It was all of them. Rising Sun, Frontline, European Assault. I liked all of them.
See, for me, my favorite was Call of Duty Big Red 1.
That was actually a really good game.
I loved that
I actually
game
got the collector's edition for it, too.
I don't think I had the collectors, but I loved that game. And Spider-Man 2 was my favorite.
Yeah,
those two were my favorite two games.
Spider-Man 3, I think they overdid it. They tried too hard.
Well, Spider-Man 3 also, too, they had a different... Like, the guy who actually came up with the web-swinging shit for Spider-Man 2...
Yeah.
He wasn't the guy that did it for Spider-Man 3.
Well, even the graphics for 3, yeah, they were technically better, but they were also worse.
I could see that, yeah.
Yeah, they were better, but worse. Visually, they were better. But when it came to motions, movements, and stuff, it was worse.
Yeah.
Spider-Man 2 was great, especially compared to Spider-Man 1. When you couldn't go to the street unless your mission was on the street when you were fighting like Shocker in the subways. And if you fell off the buildings, you fell to nothing.
Yeah, that's the thing that made me so excited about Spider-Man 2.
Yes.
Was because you actually got to go from rooftop to...
you could actually go all the way to the top of the Empire State Building and all the way down to the street.
Yeah. I loved that aspect because in Spider-Man 1, you couldn't do that. Like, unless like what you said.
Yeah.
You know, there was no...
The only other time I think they let you do that is when you're chasing vultures through the skies. Because he would go low and he'd go high.
No, you still couldn't touch the ground.
Yeah, you're right.
The only time you're able to technically touch the ground during a mission was the final one against the Green Goblin, because he was on the Brooklyn Bridge, and you were able to go from the top of the bridge down to the actual street level and also swing underneath the bridge. And that was the only time you were able to go that low.
And then if you were fighting Shocker, you were running on the street chasing him until he went into the subway or whatever.
Yeah, but still you weren't actually able to interact with the
I mean, it was still a good game for the time.
Oh yeah. No, I'm not saying it's not.
But I really did like the fact that when they came out with 2, it's like, you know what? Why don't we quit making him web the clouds and swing? Why don't we actually make him web something, the buildings, the helicopters, whatever, and actually allow them access to the tallest building to the lowest point on the map? Which was also cool because you could actually visit the Statue of Liberty, and if you played your card right and you knew how to get up, you can get all the way up to the top of her, which was a pain in the ass, but you could do it.
Yep.
Because I've done it many times.
Yeah, so did I.
But yeah, I mean, they actually gave you full access to the map. Even the new one that's out now, you can't go to the Statue of Liberty.
Nope. And the thing is,
you can see her plane this fucking day.
And the
helicopters do still fly in between them, but you can't web to them to get over.
Well, see, one thing with this new one that I do like the way it's swinging is. I like the fluidity of moving around the city and swinging.
Yeah, because remember when we came over to my place, and Josh was there and everything, and you tried to play my Spider-Man 2 on PS2?
Oh, yeah. And I was
like, Why doesn't it fucking let me do both?
Yeah. But the thing is that there's a thing with Spider-Man 2 that the Spider-Man PS4 doesn't do. And that was you could swing down to the ground and run along the ground and then get back up.
It doesn't even let you run on the buildings either, really.
It kind of does. Not to the extreme that Spider-Man. Yeah. I mean, it lets you run better and more fluid than Spider-Man 2
But you
did.
can't do the wall runs and all that as well either.
Yeah, and that's the only thing I didn't like is like before on Spider-Man Spider-Man 2, you could like free fall for a long time, swing, get down to the bottom of your arch, run along the street and hold onto it, or hold onto your web, let it go, and keep running.
The Amazing Spider-Man will actually shorten your webbing so you don't hit the ground, or if you're too low, you'll stop on the ground suddenly.
Well, that's how even PS4 does. It's like
the Amazing Spider-Man is the PS4 one.
Well, the Spider-Man PS4, they don't call it the Amazing Spider-Man.
What do they call it?
It's called Spider-Man PS4. Well, they call it actually just Spider-Man.
Well, either way.
But yeah, that one you'll do that. Yeah, like you said, you'll if you're
just a hair high enough, it'll shorten your web.
Yeah, you'll get it, and then you'll watch your body kind of float up.
Mm-hmm.
And then start swinging, and you're like,
or if you're too low, it won't do it at all because it'll only compensate X amount, and you'll just hit the ground like you weren't doing anything, and you'll just end up stationary in the middle of the road.
Yeah, that's the thing I think they need to fix if they come out with a new one.
Yeah,
but I mean, overall, that's just minor things with that game. I did really like its gameplay.
Overall, that game is actually really good.
Yeah, especially just the immersiveness of it, and also too, they did like what Grand Theft Auto has done, where the cutscenes are the game. Yeah. So, because like you were in Peter's apartment, he gets dressed, as Spider-Man, goes to fight Fisk, and the camera swings right behind him, and you just keep going. Like, there wasn't a black screen, and then now you're playing the shitty quality of it.
Yeah, it was actually much better in that sense too. Because I remember the first one, the load screens took fucking forever, and it was that little spider that would come down the web.
Oh yeah.
And it would just slowly just drop down your screen until it was loaded.
And
then I don't remember what the second one did. I think it was just like the spider emblem that was spin or something.
Either the first or the second. I think that was the first one that had the spider going down.
The spider one coming down with Spider-Man was the first Spider-Man one. The second one, I can't remember what it was. I think it may have been a black screen with the spider emblem in the bottom corner that just spun.
And the PS4 one, that one, it still has load screens where he's just like in a pose. Yeah. But you can move the camera around. You can
actually look at things, zoom in, zoom out.
Yeah.
Gives you a little bit of
something to do.
But it's only for like really major load screens.
Yeah, most of the time it doesn't take that long to load.
Yeah, it really doesn't.
The thing that takes the longest to load I've noticed so far is Grand Theft Auto. Out of all the games that I own, Grand Theft Auto takes forever to fucking load.
Yeah, but when it loads, it's loaded.
Oh, yeah. But like it will take forever to load.
Well, Red Dead takes a good while too, even for story mode to load. But it's everything, even in story mode, because I currently don't have my internet. It's supposed to be installed tomorrow. The story mode actually is fluid. It flows perfectly because you'll get to a cutscene, and the only thing that'll change is your gameplay is full screen, and then you'll get the black bars on the top and the bottom. It'll shrink down to that, and that tells you that it's going into a cutscene. And then the cutscene will happen, and then whatever you're doing in that cutscene, when the cutscene's over, those black bars will go away, and then you have full control again, even in the story mode, and it's perfectly free flowing.
I think also too is those games they load everything.
Yes, that's why it takes so fucking long to load and everything, because it's downloading everything it needs, loading it into place, and then saying, we're placed, we're ready to roll, let's do this.
Can you imagine the complexities of that game though?
Oof.
Because every angle of everything and whichever way that you go,
Oh yeah.
Well, even for me doing, audio.
Because especially if you look at Spider-Man. The new Spider-Man game, you can count every brick on every fucking building.
Yeah.
And it never knows which way you're going to go. It never knows how fast you're going to fall, how high you're going to go, but everything loads smoothly. Very rarely do you have a problem with the
building that kind of
the building that kind of you see like a corner beam and the rest of the building's invisible, and then bam, it just pops in. Yeah, you don't have that problem hardly at all unless your console's just being slow that day.
Yeah,
or if you're online, your internet connection's bad that day. But other than that, everything's just perfect. It's just like walking through an actual town, running or driving to an actual town.
Yeah. And like with the sound design for Spider-Man, one thing I did like about that is how they, especially for the musical aspect of it, is if you ever notice when you're sitting still for a long time, all you hear is just city ambience. And then the second you jump off, the music starts playing. And then right when your web attaches, it goes into the crescendo of the music and like superhero shit. That is like some awesome sound design right there.
Oh, yeah.
Like those guys had to compose a piece of music, record that shit, chop it to where it can constantly loop, but not sound like it's
on a loop. At any point it had to be able to loop.
Yeah, where it doesn't sound like it's a loop. Like you can go, obviously that's the beginning, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, they're just constantly waiting there playing. And then once it hits, you know, the computer system tells, okay, now play the rest of the music, you know?
Yeah, now play this part, now play that part.
And just to do that, I'm like, that is fucking intense, because I've done sound design for games. It's a lot of work to do that shit,
especially when you've got like the prison riot scene in the Spider-Man game. You've got the music playing, you've got the helicopter in the air, you've got all the gunfire, you've got the yelling of the prisoners, you've got the sound effects of the guards getting beat or the prisoners getting beat, you've got the crashes of the cars, the rolling of the cars, the flames, you've got all those sounds at one time perfectly flowing.
I wish my friend Mitchell could fly here and sit down and talk to us about that, because he is hardcore into that shit. I know how to do it. I know how to make sound design. I know how to do all that shit, but I'm not as good as he
your
is.
passion is more
mine's music,
the actual songs.
Yeah, mine's the music side of things. Like
you would do the songs for a game.
Yeah, I could do that.
He would do the footsteps.
Yeah, and he also likes doing the implementation of it.
Yeah.
Like me, it's like, okay, you can even give me sounds and I can mix them, but I don't like implementing it. I hate implementing them to games because you have to do it so right, like so exact. Like, so for example, let's say you're creating a game, right? Let's say you're doing a shooter game or whatever, and you have the first bullet sound. So you put bullet, or like an impact, bullet impact _1. With a capital B, but a lowercase I, bullet, all one word, bullet impact _1. When I make that bullet impact _1, I have to make sure that it's spelt exactly the same as how you have it in the code. Because if I put it in there and it's not the same, the computer won't read it and it will not play that sound. It has to be exact. And I've done shit where I'm like walking through a thing. I'm supposed to walk on this rickety bridge and you're supposed to obviously hear that while you're walking across. Nope, nothing came out. And the reason why is because I misspelled rickety.
Yeah, I can see that.
Or another thing, I spelled everything correctly. I just didn't have a capital in one spot. And it's like, fuck. And that's why I hate doing it. I'm like, yeah, I could fucking mix your music and you are the one that has to deal with the rest of that shit. I'm fine. But Mitchell, he loves this shit, dude.
Well, then if I ever decided to make the Conflict Desert Storm 1 and 2 games again to where they actually look better and flow better, right. I won't call you for that.
you can call me to mix your music for you. I'll do that all goddamn day. But I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I'll call Mitchell.
Yeah. Well, even when we did Steven's Corner, I can do that shit. But I know Mitchell probably could have done a better job on it than I could have.
Yeah, because I mean, we did have some problems with it still.
Yeah.
Even after it got published, but.
But I mean,
for what it was actually really good.
Yeah, and yeah, the vocals a little too quiet. It was just because I was in a rush when I
don't
mixed.
think it's the vocals so much are too quiet as the piano.
Yeah, well, also part of it
I feel like the piano's too loud.
The piano, I know why I turned up the piano that loud. When I look back on it, it was because there was some noise with some of the sound effects, and I wanted to try to drown some of that out.
Oh, okay.
But it didn't work like I was hoping it would. But Mitchell's really good at actually capturing sound and minimal noise and cleaning it up better than I do. But the intro music, I mix that and it sounds really good.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm good at music, but when it comes to like sound and shit with sound design, I can do it and I know how to do it. I just don't like it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
which is why you have like Mitchell, you know, he loves that stuff. There's people who love doing that. You like to do the music side. Obviously, there's several other people out there who like to do that. It's just a matter of what you want to do and what you're, the way you look at things. Yep. Like for me, I understand the aspect of the sound effects. I understand the aspects of the music and everything of when you do stuff. But in order for me to see how to record the sounds perfectly,
right,
I have to look at it in a movie perspective. You look at it as what would I hear if I did it?
Yeah.
And then when it comes to the music, it's how would I want that to sound?
Exactly.
To me, it's how would that sound mixed with a movie scene playing?
Well, see, because that's
I imagine the songs
I do
around a movie theme.
right.
More than anything.
When it comes to sound design, when I have to do it, like I prefer to do sound design for film over sound design for gaming. Because sound design for film, you literally have the film playing, and then you watch it, you do the sound, you mix it, it's there.
Yeah, there's no type it in this way. Ah, shit, I misspelled it. Wait, how do they have it spelled?
50 million different footstep sounds, so that way doing all these different variables, so that way it's randomized. See, that's just
it. If I ever was trying to design a game, I wouldn't do like this thing, like especially because I'd probably do a shooter game. I do a military conflict style game or something like that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want the same 10 gunshot sounds.
Right. And that's what you have to do. Like you have to.
Yeah, like, I would do. I mean, obviously you can't do every individual round as an individual sound.
You
could, but it would take fucking forever.
Yeah.
I would actually do like 20 to 30 and make them more sporadic.
Well, see, because what
when you play in a game, you hear like if you just unload, you hear like the same 10 round sounds over and over and over, and you can tell when it repeats.
Yeah. Well, see, like one thing that we would do when we would do sound design for gaming, when you have footsteps, right? So a lot of times we would record for like little projects that I would do. I haven't done like an actual like AAA game. That's a fuck ton of sounds. For like footsteps, we do 10 different footstep sounds, right? And then those would be for a certain surface. So when the computer knew that you were on grass, it would then pull the sound bank of grass footstep sounds and play them. And then, but you would have it randomized. One step, now it's a different sound. One step, now it's a different sound. One step. But it was not a true randomization. It was a predicted randomization. So that way, because real random could be that one step or plays over and over again 5 times in a row before another one happens. Yeah. So it's not real random. It's
random, but it has to it
gives you the perception of randomization without it really being.
Yeah.
But
which kind of reminds me of like the shuffle. What was it? iTunes had the shuffle and people hit shuffle and they complained that shuffle worked too well, so they had to de-shuffle shuffle.
Yeah, because like it's not really random, even though it actually was. But it's not really random because it would play the same artist twice in a row, Yeah. And it's like, okay, fine, we'll do it to where like our algorithm knows that not to play this same artist for another 5 or 6 songs later. But it's the same thing there. And then you do pitch shift, different pitch shifting. So that way, one step, it could be literally the exact same step that just played, but it's going to now be 10 cents lower or 10 cents higher. And so it's going to sound different. But in a AAA game, that's like 50 to 60, maybe even 100 different footsteps. Think of Grand Theft Auto with all that shit. You got all those different cars that drive by all the time. You got people walking by and talking. That's tons of footsteps, ambience, all this
because you got to count all the different shoes, all the different body weights. You got to count the different surfaces. Then when it comes to the cars, you got to think of the different sounds the tires are going to make.
And you also,
tires, the engine sounds, the exhaust sounds.
You also got to think of when you pick up an item, it has to make this sound. Right? Like, for example, when you pick up armor in like a side game, or even when you buy armor, it makes that zzz sound.
Or it makes that sound like as if you just threw it on the ground into a chair or something.
Yeah. So you got to have that sound, but that sound cannot be conflicting with any other sound because you don't want to be like walking through something and that same sound happens. You're thinking, oh, dude, I just got armor when really you didn't. That was just someone zipping up a jacket in game. So that's a completely different sound. So that's why I don't like it. But like when you're saying how you visualize sound, when it comes to film, that's how I do the same thing. I visualize, okay, if I was there in real life and I sit and think, what would I hear? And sometimes if I have an issue with that, I will literally walk around my apartment or I'll walk outside and just listen. So that way I'm like, okay, if I was actually outside, like these characters are outside. So that means I'd probably hear birds. They're in a city. So it means I'll probably hear ambience of traffic in the background. And
maybe the occasional skid of tires.
Yeah, maybe the occasional honk or the occasional dog bark. Maybe a kid laughing because in the background of the scene there's a park. And it's like,
but see, you think of it as what would you hear if you were there? I don't look at it as me being there. I look at it, okay, if it's this movie, if I see this, what would go with it?
Yeah.
While I'm watching that movie.
And that I do, that's for background shit when I think that.
Yeah.
Like if I was there, what would I hear? For obvious, that guy is taking a footstep. So there should be a footstep there.
Yeah, there should be some kind of step. What is he wearing? What surface is he walking on?
Yep.
How big is the guy? Are we going to make him more of a soft footstep guy, or are we going to make him a heavy walker? Because like you and me, you're more of a heavy footed person than I am.
Yeah.
So I mean, if we did the sound effects, we'd have to take it into consideration. Is it going to be somebody who walks more like you, or somebody who walks more like me, or is it going to be like a tactical situation where they're walking, you can see they're walking, but they're walking in such a manner they don't make a fucking sound.
And that's one thing too with Hollywood that Hollywood does. Like that's why when you see certain sound effects for things, it doesn't make sense on real world shit sometimes because they're doing it because your brain expects to hear a sound, and there's no way those guys should be doing that. Well, even like you'll see sometimes with tactical shit, there's no footstep sounds, and you're like, okay, I get it because they're supposed to be tactical and sneaky, but in real life, there still would be footsteps.
Yeah, you'd still hear a very slight crunch under the gravel,
or the
creaking of the shoe as the rubber bends,
or even the slight tap of the heel or the left off of the toe, you know, and stuff like that. And then also gunshots, and you know, it's a whole nother can of worms there.
Yeah, and then like the suppressor sounds, they always mess up really bad. Yeah.
So I mean, that's the thing where it's just, but you do that because your brain. You need to have that. You need to have good sounding sounds. And that's why I don't really like it that well, because I can do it. It's just really tedious.
Especially when it comes to like in the way you can do it now, the way you do it now, you can't buy those physical items every time to get that physical sound.
Yeah, you have to
find random shit. What was it? You did footsteps by buying a bag of gravel and just walking on it in your apartment.
Yeah, for a guy running outside on a gravel sidewalk.
Yeah. You've done telephone noises with a holster.
Yeah, like this one scene that I was doing for a video, he picks up a landline phone and he's talking on the phone. In order to get that pickup and his hang up, that was literally my Glock 19 in its Safariland holster, just going in, pulling it out. And then and I did multiple takes of it, whichever one sounded the best that lined up with that footage that sounded like how that should sound, then that's what I used. And for he had the coil cable, and like our headphones, we have these, but I could not get the sound of that the way I wanted with actually using these. So I had one of those Nerf gun magazines, and I was twisting them, and I got that sound that I wanted. I mean, that's just like even I think Mortal Kombat, there's shit that they use random things. For Star Wars, they had like, it was an accident how they got the lightsaber sound is they were doing
styrofoam just rubbing against each other or something, isn't it?
That's the pew pew of the jet fighters.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. Can't remember what they're actually called, but that's styrofoam. For the lightsabers, they had the certain type of ambience and music thing that was playing, and they wind up moving a microphone in front of one of the speakers while they were recording something. And they're like, hold on. And that's how they got the lightsaber sound. And
sometimes it is just by sheer accident.
Well, like for me, I did this one when I was doing this one game sound design. It had this futuristic door that went came down. Well, how I got the sounds was I went to Walmart, found a T-Rex, like a toy T-Rex, recorded the sound of it with this portable recorder I had, and pitch shift and reverb and all this crazy weird shit to it, and got the of the door. And I'm like, very well.
So yeah, you got to get really creative with that too. So because actually most of the time the physical object's not going to make the sound you want anyways, like you were saying about the coiled cord.
Yep.
So, but I think that was a pretty decent episode.
Yeah, same here. Yeah. I mean, we went from nostalgia and games to actual what we think about games, and then all of a sudden to sound design and audio and shit. So
yeah. So I think we should call this one here.
Yep.
It's really good. Definitely did not go where I expected it.
Nope.
Definitely not. Oh, well, that's what you get when you're unscripted.
Yay! Woo! Unscripted podcasts.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Well, all right. Well, thank you, everyone, for listening to Flatlands, the podcast. I'm Jonathan.
I'm Steven.
And we'll see you next time.